As a self-defender, you need to know how to use your firearm from an unconventional position. Hi everyone, this is John with today's active self-protection lesson out of Argentina. Shows us here an attempted armed robbery that goes very badly for the armed robber. It's going to teach us important lessons here about situational awareness, particularly when we are a vulnerable or valuable target. It's going to teach us about using our firearm effectively from an unconventional position like seated in our car. And it's going to teach us again that we shoot as self-defenders if we have to, but only to stop the threat. Our intended victim is the guy in the white pickup in the upper left, and this guy that's walking is our perpetrator, and he sees this really nice 4x4, and he's like, hey, that looks like a great thing for a robbery. Pulls a gun out of his backpack, which if you go read the news story, he actually has a grenade in there too, and bangs on it with a gun. He's like, hey, let me in, man, I want this stuff in here. But what he doesn't know is the guy in there has a gun as well. He's just gotten a bunch of money out for payroll, and he puts 3 shots in this guy and then gets out to see what's going on. He thinks he's dead, but we're going to see this guy kind of come back. And if you go read the news story, it's on my website, linked in the description. You're going to see this guy actually lived through this. They've called 999, and this one's over. The cops do come and get him. So let's learn some significant lessons here. There are 8 lessons on my website. Make sure that you click the link in the description to learn more. But let's talk about some of the most important ones. And the first one I want to talk about here as a potential victim is to lock your car doors. I think it was excellent here that this guy had a lot of money in the car and his driver's side door was locked. Always lock your car doors because, your car, when it's stopped, is a transitional space, and giving yourself that barrier is incredibly important. Next, I want to talk about marksmanship here and about the rules of firearm safety. Do you notice here that we have a bystander that's walking by? Because he had a moment, I think it's really wise that this defender waited until his backstop was clear to defend himself with the gun that he had on him in the car. And when he does, though, you see him, he starts to put that shot. That first one went in his shoulders. The guy was shot in both shoulders and in the guts. That first one went in his shoulders. I'm going to encourage you, if you have that second and he can't see that you're armed, to try to put that shot in a place to stop the threat immediately, like the cranial vault. And the reason is you can see that he still has the gun up. So after he's shot, that guy is still pointing the gun at the intended victim, and that could have been a deadly mistake. Now he shoots him a second time there, and now we see him start to really change things. We start to see that fibs factor show up, that guy really wants to do something else because he's been shot. And now as he's fallen, we see the third one happen, and now he's out of the fight. So our intended victim here, our defender, defends himself effectively, and then he stops shooting when the threat is over. That was incredibly wise. The threat is gone, and so he stops shooting. Now, he decides to get out of the truck. I don't know that I would recommend getting out of the truck in that instance. Get it started, put it in drive, get out of the danger zone, and call the cops and have them come and pick the guy up. But for whatever reason, he decides to get out. He thinks the guy is dead, but now what we're going to see is he is not. So get the gun away from him. If ever you have to stay in the vicinity of a downed attacker, make sure that you get your force multiplier away from them and don't sit on it. Don't just leave it there. Make sure that you actually secure that force multiplier, get it way away from them, because that bad guy could reawaken, could get some fighting back in him as his blood pressure comes back up. All in all, I think that this self-defender did a fantastic job of protecting himself, and he covered his asp.